Hi. This is Jesse Thomas. I'm a half host of That Other Sports Show, brought to you on blogtalkradio.com/TOSS. Um, and sports is what we do, and I think we do a pretty good job. So I would advise you to check out the show and see if you like it. I think that you will. But these videos, this is only the second one. And the whole reason I kind of thought about doing this one, at least because there's been a lot of stuff kind of burning me as a sports fan. I'm just a decent human being, as much as possible, at least. And it started off with Lance Armstrong. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is ESPN, and they obviously are like the most popular sports show, everything going on. Right now they got, football playoffs coming up. But before that they were talking about Lance Armstrong. They were talking about how Lance is they had Rick Riley, who is an ESPN writer, commentator, and Rick Riley apparently was like a good buddy of Lance Armstrong. And Rick Riley, they had him on the phone, and he was saying, Lance Armstrong, I can't believe Lance Armstrong. I can't believe Lance. This is a guy who wants to drive 100 miles an hour in his car because he knows that he can get away with it. This is a guy who's completely an egotistical monster. Rick was a friend of Lance Armstrong. And last time I checked, friends don't talk about friends like that, even if they do bad things. My beef isn't with the whole Lance Armstrong, and that's not like the point of this video. The point of this video for me is to just tell you, get a little bit off my chest about how I feel about how things are going. Right now, we in America are facing probably the most difficult times in our lives. Each American is trying to find different ways to survive. Money, is tight with most of us. The middle class is really just kind of gelled with the lower class, and now it's just like a big lump of people who basically are poor. Like myself, I don't have a lot of money and I don't have a lot of resources. What I do have, I try to put to the best use as possible. And then we all lean on sports to kind of be we lean on sports to give us hope. For those of you who believe in God, and I won't get all crazy religious or anything on you guys. For those of you who believe in God, you have that one thing to grasp onto, to hold on to be your stepping stone, to become a better person or try to live a good life. For those who don't, and even for those, I guess in general, sorry, it's a horrible way to start off, but in general, all of us, especially Americans, really grab onto the thought that our athletes are our heroes. They are our idols. And how did they get to that place? Is it really because of their acts? Is it really because of their deeds? Is it because they were just born and bred to be king? Queen of the court? Mike Tyson was the king of the ring, We praise our athletes probably more so than we do our celebrities. If not, it's really close and in the same category. Who puts them there? We do. We put them there. They don't get there by themselves. Without media, without fans, without people cheering for them, or going to see the games and saying, hey, that guy can run really fast. I'm going to cheer for that guy. That guy, whoever it may be, doesn't get anywhere. we have all these things going on right now. Lance Armstrong is the big issue. He came out, finally said on Oprah, for whatever reason, it's his thing. If he wants to come out on Oprah and say it, then he does. He comes out and says, I doped. I'm sorry. I want to make things right. I want to right the wrongs. And this is what I have to say about Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong is guilty of absolutely nothing. Lance Armstrong tried his best to stay on top of a game where he was the best. And maybe by being the best, he felt he needed an edge. Maybe that edge started off small, got bigger, who knows? Obviously, he didn't become a giant. He wasn't taking steroids, maybe testosterone, but who takes testosterone now? For you MMA fans, you know that it's half of the fighters on the UFC roster, probably Bellator, all across the world probably. Lance Armstrong's not guilty here. He's not the guilty party. You know why? Because we placed him there. We put Lance Armstrong on that pedestal. We bought his jerseys. We cheered him. We traveled in vehicles and bicycles to travel upside the mountain while he was riding his bike on all those Tour de France's that he won. We followed him. We made him a superhero. We created Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong did not create himself. We don't create ourselves. You people out there who think that's true, it's wrong. Look at my Twitter friend, Bloodstained Lane. If it wasn't for the people who hated him and all the people that have come around to love him, he wouldn't be any more than just some guy randomly mouthing off on a video that he placed on YouTube. Now, because, so many people have heard him, and they either like what he says or doesn't like what he says, he's like a vlog star, right? We created Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong is he's a factor in our own lives, in our spectacle. We want superstars blown up. We want champions. We want bright lights. We want flashy cars. And since we can't get that stuff, we look to the athletes and the celebrities to get that stuff. And we base our lives and all the things that we like on them because they are capable of living that life. Last time I remember, I was poor. And these guys are making millions and millions of dollars for doing something that's been done for ages. And most of them didn't get paid for it. But back to my little rant. Lance Armstrong, again, he's not guilty. He's not the guilty party here. We are. We as a society are so quick to sit there and build these people up to superhero idol status, put them up on their throne, and then the second that we don't like something that they've done, we yank the rug out from underneath them. We label them as used, old news, over the hill, tainted. Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, Jose Canseco, Rafi Palmeiro, the list goes on and on. We created them. We put such a stamp on the standard of winning that every kid in America who wants to play football, who wants to play basketball, who wants to play soccer, they start training when they're like 9 years old. They're lifting weights at 10, 11, 12 years old. Why? Because they want the edge. We put that stamp on them. We said, if you want to be a winner, if you want to be a champion, if you want to do great things with your life, you will succumb to what we expect. Lance Armstrong's getting a bunch of beef because they said they don't think that he's sincere about this. Maybe he's not. I don't honestly. I don't think he's sincere about this. I don't think that he feels that he did anything wrong. And I will state to you again, I don't believe he did anything wrong. Before I get to Manti Te'o and that part, Lance Armstrong has a teammate, and his former teammate's wife was on ESPN, and she pretty much sounded like she was having a baby, screaming about how Lance owes me, Lance owes me. Lady, Lance Armstrong doesn't owe you anything. He doesn't owe your teammate anything. Or your husband, excuse me. He doesn't owe his teammate anything. He doesn't owe us. He doesn't owe us, the American people, anything. He did what he felt he needed to do. Same with Rampage Jackson, for all you MMA fans who went out there and did his thing, TRT. Dan Henderson. And I can almost guarantee you that at least somewhere in the range of 60 to 70% of all MMA athletes take TRT now, whether they're 25 years old or 35 years old, which is absolutely ridiculous since testosterone levels don't even start dropping off till about in between 35 and 40 years old. So to be a 27, 28-year-old man, young man, and feel that you need testosterone, I feel like you're doing that to get an edge. And so does everybody else. But you know what? If you're winning, we don't care. Because America loves winners. Manti Te'o. This kid, I'm not really sure about the whole story. And to be honest with you, I'm not even really sure what a catfish is. But I'm going to say this. Whether it was a cousin or an aunt or an uncle or a brother or a neighbor down the block who, came up with the whole fake girlfriend thing, you can't tell me that Manti Te'o didn't know a little bit about it at least. And when it comes out now, this kid's going to be ripped up and down for having this dupe. They call him, they say he's being duped. I think he's duping everybody. But why is he doing it? That's the question. Whether or not it happened, I think that's irrelevant at this point in time. Why did he do it? Why would he go along with it? Why would he not just say, hey, brah, knock it off. Take that stuff down. You know why? Because without this, he's just another middle linebacker. He's skilled. He's talented, yes. So are 5,000 other guys playing, high league, high money, high balling college football. Manti Te'o is just another Hawaiian linebacker, trying to look for an edge. I don't know how much that this kid knows, okay? But I do know this. It's not Manti's fault. It's not Lance Armstrong's fault that they did these things to try to get an edge. It's us as American people, our society, the world, not even just our society, the world, places extreme amounts of pressure on winning and starting at a young age. I want my son to play football. I'm not going to lie to you, I really do. And I wish him the best. I really hope that he makes a career out of it. That's my dream. That was my dream when I was playing. That didn't happen for me, but, I wish that it could happen for my son. I wish that my daughters got to play WNBA basketball and be on TV and get some of these highlights that ESPN loves to show so much. But I refuse to force my kids into thinking that they need to be winners. There's absolutely nothing wrong with coming in second place. We created Lance Armstrong. We created Manti Te'o. We created Joe Montana. We created Peyton Manning. We created Muhammad Ali. Did their talents and effort have something to do with it? Sure, sure. Can't take anything away from the greatness of the athlete, right? But what made them great? Us. Because we said they were great. We put those labels on them. And then when they got too old, we flushed them down the toilet. Nobody talks about Michael Jordan anymore. Nobody talks about Muhammad Ali anymore. After a couple of years, no one's going to talk about Peyton Manning. Who really mentions Brett Favre? Tom Brady, America's sweetheart. In 5 years, who's he going to be? I look at Mark Sanchez and I say, thank God Mark Sanchez is failing the way he is. Because the pressure of being a USC quarterback, winning a national title, and coming to play for a team like the New York Jets, if he would have succeeded, imagine the hype. Imagine the esteem from colleagues, the love from fans. He's getting a dose of what it's like to be over the hill now. He has a chance now to let go of any inhibition about being great and just possibly just playing football next year, because playing football is fun. And he gets a chance to play for some money. If he doesn't learn that lesson, I don't know. He's not going to sit down and talk to me about it. Just remember, when you watch this video, a lot of you are going to say, no, it was Lance's fault. It was Te'o's fault. You know, you guys are going to put the blame, and that's fine, because everybody, all of us are entitled to our own opinion. ESPN's to blame. All those sports websites out there are to blame. All of us that go and root for these guys week after week or day after day or month after month, we're to blame. We pay the money to go see these guys, and then when something bad happens, we rip them from their thrones, from upon which we placed them on in the first place. This video is not to do anything huge or crazy. I just wanted to get some things off my chest, because it really is, it kind of makes me sick to watch this going on right now. Manti Te'o is a young kid, and his life's being ruined. It's being ripped apart because of something. Yeah, he had a part to do in it, but look what's happening now. It's everywhere. Lance Armstrong's life is being ripped apart, not because he was completely unaware of what was happening, but because now we don't like Lance because he's a cheater. We didn't like Kobe Bryant when he cheated on his wife. We didn't like Michael Jordan when we thought that he was hoarding money. We placed the need for these guys to think that they had to go out and do these things to become winners, to become champions, to be better than everybody else. Yes, there's thousands and thousands of other athletes that don't do anything wrong. Tell me one of their names. Give me one memory of them winning a championship. Go back in time, the history books. Let me know of one person who wasn't great and rebellious at the same time. It's going to be tough. You'll probably be able to come up with a few, but it's going to be tough. So, this video is done. I hope you guys maybe take something out of it. I just had to get some of this off my chest. because overall I talk about these guys on a weekly basis. Maybe not so much Lance or whatever, but in general. But you know, I talk about sports, and this is just kind of makes me sick a little bit, and I just wanted to let everybody know, I guess. So anyway, if you're willing to put somebody on a throne and crown him, make sure that you're willing to take the risk and the chances of him not being the king as much as he could be the Joker. That's all, guys. Jesse Thomas, That Other Sports Show. These in no way are the views of the entire cast or crew that we have helping us out or contributing to That Other Sports Show. This is just my thoughts. Catch the show on Wednesday nights, 6:30, blogtalkradio.com/TOSS10. You can find us on Stitcher.com. And go get the archives through iTunes. I'm out, guys.